STEK Michael here, and today we're going to talk about window tint. Window tint is typically an automotive film that's applied on the interior of your glass and can be used for a few different reasons. One of the most popular reasons is simply for privacy. It protects you from the outside world and whatever may be on the inside of your car from being seen by the outside world. And another huge reason is going to be for the IR heat rejection. Now, if you're in a sunshiny state, this is going to be one of the most popular services you get done to your car, just so every time you jump in, it becomes a lot more comfortable. And there will be varying levels in terms of what you get with that heat rejection. We'll go into that in just a minute. Now, the last reason that you might want window tint on your car would be simply for UV protection. UV is a very harmful ray. That's what causes skin cancer. It can also damage your interior, causing your dashboard to crack, dry up, and age prematurely. And so window tint can be a really effective way to both protect your interior and your skin, the skin of your passengers, your kids, from those harmful UV rays. Now, I mentioned that there's a few different levels that you're going to get in terms of the heat rejection, but there's a few different performance attributes depending on what these levels you select are. And what it starts out as, in terms of the entry point, is just going to be a dyed or metallized film. This film is going to have a fairly affordable price that gives you decent heat rejection, but the downside of a dyed and metallized film is that it lacks stability. Over time, that dye pigment in the film will fade. Lower quality brands might even turn purple or bluish, and you're also going to see that the stability in terms of the adhesive often fails prematurely. So that means that you might see some bubbling and premature, again, aging of that film, where it just doesn't look good after 5-10 years on the vehicle. Now, the other downside to dyed metallized films is simply because of that metal component, it does sometimes interfere with your GPS or satellite signals. So if that's super important for you, avoiding dyed or metallized might be your best bet. Now, if you want something that's a little bit higher quality in terms of the lifetime stability, that's when we're going to look at the next level up, which is carbon. And a carbon series window tint uses a carbon raw material to provide a very neutral gray color tone. And that is a huge appeal, especially if you're going for the privacy aspect of window tint. Now, carbon is not going to give you the best heat rejection in terms of IR infrared rejection, but again, it has a lot better stability than your dyed metallized, has that nice neutral tone, and does provide some heat rejection. Across the board, I should back up and say that all of these window tints, whether it's dyed metallized, carbon, or the ceramic and sputter we go and talk about, all have 99.9% UV protection. And that's at least pertaining to STEK films, but you're gonna get what you pay for most of the time. So the next step up from carbon is going to be ceramic. And there are varying levels of ceramic window film. What this means is we're using more precious raw materials. That would be ATO, ITO, and tungsten most commonly. These raw materials actually reject or conduct heat really, really well. And so outside of just having the film being dark, so to speak, through a dye, these raw materials are actually dispersing that heat, helping keep the interior cooler. Now, what you're going to see in varying levels of ceramic tints is the amount of that ATO, tungsten, or ITO that is getting impregnated into the film. The more of those raw materials you have, the more rejection you're going to get, but the more expensive the film's going to be as well. So again, when it comes to performance, if you want the best for heat rejection, it's going to come at that higher price. Now, there is one line above ceramic, and that would just be your vision and or sputter films. Those sputter films are a multi-layer and use even more precious materials such as like gold and silver, which means that those prices are really high, but you do get a few percentage higher in terms of IR rejection. Those are most common in desert environments and or places like the Middle East. There you go, a little bit more window film.